the PDQ Live team with Jordan, Tara, JJ, Jake, Chase, me, a bottle of scotch with his twin brother who's been drained of his life force. It's PDQ Live.
Hey everybody, welcome to PDQ Live. It's PDQ A not on Patch Tuesday.
It is, and a new set.
And a new set.
Under construction.
That's less news.
Oh,
whatever.
That's right.
All this hard work. I wasn't a part of this hard work, so I don't care about it.
That's fair. Neither was I. I just showed up this morning and saw it. I was like, ooh, that's neat.
But normally going into PDQ, I'd talk about what happened during Patch Tuesday, and now I can't do that. So we're just going to need 45 seconds of silence while we pretend I'm talking about that.
I would prefer that we didn't.
We also have Glenn here, so we can even take your SmartDeploy questions.
Ooh, fantastic. Hi, Glenn.
Hello.
All right, so, I have nothing interesting to say. Let's take questions.
That was an excellent segue. Appreciate that one.
All right, and keep your questions coming, by the way. I know this time of year, there's a lot of people on vacation. We're light on questions right now, so keep them coming. Preface them with the word question, and let's get started. Jordan, this one's more directed to you. In your last YouTube video, Automate Onboarding for Azure AD, I got lost a little, to be honest. Could you please do a blog post on the exact PowerShell steps you did with the cert, service accounts, permissions, etc.? Then how would I run this PowerShell without human interaction on a regular schedule? On-prem server Windows scheduled task? Thanks so much. That YouTube video was amazing. I'm just a little slow. Sorry, Dr. Thunder.
So, and you're right, Dr. Thunder. I almost said Mr. Thunder, which would be demeaning for someone who went to 8 years of Thunder Medical School. Mm-hmm. I did dive right into just trying to get it to function within Azure without talking about the PowerShell stuff. So the main things that I grabbed to make that so it would be automated was the main key for our tenant, the tenant ID. Yep. The application ID for the user account when I built it, not a user account, it's a service principal account, I think. And then when I built that cert, I built the cert live, which the code was in there. I don't have it on this brand new machine. But if you go back there, the top part of the line when I start talking about building everything, I build the cert there, and then I use that cert when I build the account, so it's all tied there. Yeah. And you just need the thumbprint from that. So with those three things, you can use that account to build without needing to authenticate. But the way you pull them in there is I use what's called the secrets management. So if we go to...
Oh, I saw you install secrets management.
I didn't. I just actually tested to make sure I could find it.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't actually have any of that. So if you go and just do find module, I'm used to having my autofill here. Just find module. All of my settings. Tag. Secret management. Can I... Management. It's even on there and I can't. That's going to pull down all of it. Yeah. And so what this does, this lets you build a secret store within this machine where you can store information that you can draw in without having to share it. It's locked down, in the case like if you do the secret manager store, to this computer, to that logged in user. So even if someone comes in and logs another user, they can't access that store. So for the automation, I put all the three pieces of information I need in there into the store. In my case, I used KeyPass just because it's local. There's not a lot of it's the easiest one to set up for me. But as you can see, there's a whole lot in there. Whatever you use for your password tool, you can put it in there. And then what you do is you can set your PowerShell to import the key and everything that it needs to unlock the secrets. Just every time PowerShell opens up, it's just part of the profile. Gotcha. And then when you're going to the automation and you need those three bits of information, I think it's just find dash secret after you've unlocked the store and the name, whatever name you gave it. And that will pull in all the information you need to unlock without having to type in anything.
Gotcha. So you were doing this, like, I think the second part of that question is, where do I do this to make it non-user interactive?
And so the second part is, it just, since you are having those locked down with something that is to that user profile, to that machine, I would use just like a scheduled task, but that machine's, you don't want a machine that's not turning off, obviously.
You could use maybe deploy. on a schedule.
Deploy could do it on a schedule and go in there as long as it can go in there and access all that information. That should be fine. So anything that you could do to schedule running PowerShell, you just want to make sure that it's running with the right
user
on the right machine.
Yes.
And that will be able to pull in all that information for you.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I think a blog's in order.
Yeah, I'll do a blog on that one.
I'm giving the point to Jordan.
Oh, did I squeak by with a point?
Yeah, that was a squeak by. Yeah, we can hear you.
It's a little quiet, but we can hear you.
I'll kiss it.
Yeah, you got to get right on that one.
Right on
That
it.
one's terrible.
Now I feel like a singer.
That's and that's a stage vocal mic.
That explains
There
everything.
you go.
Cool.
All right, next question. Is there a way to send an email alert when a computer gets added to a collection? Sincerely, Dan.
Short answer, no.
It's going to require some work.
But you could do it.
So you would almost need to have a query that pulls out the current membership of a collection.
Yep.
And then the schedule would basically run the new query and you do a comparison and then just email out the differences.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of SQL queries. That's not within the product. That's a lot.
It's a lot, but you've kind of done this with that time series database in Grafana.
Yes.
Kind of tweak that a little bit. And then instead of like posting back out for like visualization, that's like a send email.
Yeah. So with the time series, when I did start showing graphs, people hated that. They're like, why don't you do anything relevant with that, like in remediation or actual alerting? And there's another one he came up with on top of that, a different system to use instead of Grafana. So instead of showing it, actually do actionable data.
Oh, yeah. What was that? I don't remember.
We'll have to look it up. But what I learned from that one is getting the data was nice. Putting up graphs made people very upset. So I need to do something more useful with it.
But there's the entire, groundwork for doing this in that video.
Yes.
Right. You take the relevant pieces out about querying specifically from the inventory SQLite database, look for that collection you want. And then since you've got time series, you can start to see when things change around and then you can build your own send mail message.
Yeah. If your query puts them both out in a CSV, you can just with PowerShell do a compare and just all the right operators. So anything extra will show up there and then just email that out. But not within the product. No, it's going to take some setup to get that.
Yep. Yes, it will.
Yeah, I think this actually might be a follow-up to that question. It's Dan. We can throw that one up there. He says, we have a weekly report that's sent out to our boss of machines that are missing particular software, AV, webfilter, etc. Some weeks this report is blank or the same as the week before. Is there anything to stop it from sending a blank report to my boss?
Okay, so
the blank report, that is a one of the most requested features for our product in there. So we have a team that is now adding new features and working on things, and I believe the blank reports and the roles are two of the ones that were highlighted, but I don't have a time frame for when those will be in there. So not now, but I'm pretty sure the roadmap has us being able to not send blank reports.
Yeah. A report is definitely a whole lot easier if that's the context of just continuing to send out that, but it is going to be blank.
Yeah, that is definitely that's one of the most hated things when it comes to like the fact it sends out blank reports and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It was a little silly of us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That was a bad call.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Is there a way to have deploy run a PowerShell script on its own box, but open the PowerShell window and leave it open while the script runs? I want to launch Invoke-CAURun and watch it go while it runs. Mike B.
So I think if you run deploy with it's logged on user interactive.
You want to try it?
Sure.
I think if you do, you might have to do like a start process, PowerShell.exe, and then like pipe it your arguments and then run as the logged on user.
So I don't have the module for that specific command, but we can try with a different one.
All right.
So conditions, what am I doing here? We want properties.
You want options.
There we
you
go.
want run as.
Run as, and we said
logged on user.
Logged on user or deploy user interactive.
Well, no, because we're not our deploy user. We're our logged on user.
Logged on user. There we go.
Yeah.
Actually, JJ and I were talking about that specific option before and how secretly cool it is on how it all functions. But
that impersonation is pretty neat.
yeah, so it's a logged on user, but you can still have some admin rights with it.
Yep.
So let's see, what do we want to do? Run as
Let's just fire up a PowerShell prompt, right? So just like start process. What is that executable?
But that's
called?
going to open up the window, but not necessarily run the command, though.
But then, can't you in the pipeline? Could you feed it what to run, like PowerShell.exe with arguments? That is another PowerShell command.
I'm going to try it with just I'm going to do get host.
All right.
But no, logged on user is still going to return data, though. It's not going to pop it up.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're going to have to call.
So you want to do start process, and then when you call it, you want to run it as an argument, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's possible off the top of my head. But I'm not sure. Let's instead of doing it with deploy where there's some downtime, let's do dash process PowerShell.
Yeah.
Exe, and then there's got to be some sort of argument list. And then we'll do. I'm just going to do get host just because that's all I can think of right now. So if I run that, it should open up a PowerShell window and run it, but it closes right after.
Yeah.
So there's got to be another flag to not have it closed.
But if it's but get host takes for a long time. So I wonder if you do like a start sleep instead. So if he just wants to watch the process of this command, it'll stay open the whole time that it's running. So do a start sleep for like 5 seconds instead of get host.
You say, okay. But that's not going to put any data up. But.
It wouldn't, but in the case that you were running a command that actually was interactive, then it might.
Where's all of my time frame?
I seem to recall there is a no exit command that will leave the window open. What I don't know is if it will close the window once the command is completed. So
I'm going back to get host.
Oh yeah.
With you said
Glenn for the win. It's no exit.
No exit. So is that an attribute, or that's got to be an argument that goes into part?
I believe it's an argument. It's dash no exit.
Well, let's try it.
I don't think it. We'll see.
I don't know what effect it'll have.
Nah.
Yeah. So normally no exit. You have to.
So.
No exit would have to be part of when you're calling PowerShell.exe. So you're saying run PowerShell. That's where you'd put things like bypass if you want to.
Oh, that's right.
So it'd have to be part of that.
Exactly.
But I think if you were running maybe even get credential, right, would leave that window open.
Okay, so you just want to close?
You got an extra H there, I think.
Yes, I do. Now, what am I doing wrong here?
There it is.
There we are. Turn that, it opens up, it puts it in there.
And then it would leave that.
Leaves that up there. So that's showcasing the work, but we want to see if it works with deploy now. So now we're going to go and put this in.
Yeah, we got working PowerShell now, so let's throw it in our package.
Save that, and we're just going to run that as against itself, this machine that we're watching, right?
I think you just name a new package up, I think. And then you can do the shortcut of just deploying to dot for localhost.
So that should pop up PowerShell on the screen where we can see it. We're hoping. Where it's running as logged on user.
I love doing it live.
So we have done this before because I've done things where you need win forms. Like that's where we use the, hey, are we okay to reboot your machine? And they can hit yes or no. And I can't remember. I have to go back because we've done this webcast where we've done it with win forms where it's like a reboot specifically because we give users a chance to say no.
And there was a trick to it too. I don't remember what it was.
I'm going to guess it was deploy interactive. And you've led me astray.
Oh, we didn't run that as logged on user.
Did I not save that?
Or I don't know. Is that the right step too?
Logged on user.
What's our details there? Oh, we grabbed the wrong package.
I was just going to say, somebody in the chat said.
So it's this other new package.
Wrong new package.
There we are.
Yeah.
And that's why you name things.
No, it's okay to have 8 new packages in there. They're called new package.
I'm sure they. All right, so that opens up.
There we go.
There we go.
So replace our get credential with whatever it is you want to run. Watch it live.
Just run it as long on user.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have known that off the top of our head instead of all this trial and error, but we got there.
Yeah.
We're slower than most. It's all right.
Let's not type that in. So
you don't want me to type in my password?
Just, I mean, if you want, it just means you have to change it again.
Hunter2.
Yeah, Hunter2. Everyone write that down. If you come into the office, now you know Jordan's password.
So I'm not seeing the VS Code on the monitor. Or that's just us that's seeing it on the TV.
I think that's just us. We're seeing it twice, but that's all right.
All right.
Next one.
Sure. Let's do another question.
Okay, let's go there. What did you do with the table everyone asks about? Alex N.
I think it's like right back there.
It's somewhere.
I believe we're hanging on to it in case we need to go back to using the torture couches. Like if I ever make Kelly angry, we're gonna go back to those couches as punishment until I learn my lesson.
Wow, that's a lot of work. Chase
It
too.
is a lot of work. Chase and I spent a lot of time putting this thing together. I don't think we want to
Yeah, let's not.
rebuild this.
We still have it,
Actually, it would
but I
be
don't know what the
terrible,
plans
but,
are with it.
It's just right over there. It's right behind Jordan.
And it is a very cool table. And I don't think you can find them anymore.
No,
can you?
so I think we could sell it for more than it's worth, and I think we could probably sell it and get maybe some more. Maybe
Some
maybe
background
some more
themes?
shelves, more background
I
stuff.
need more knickknacks.
I need a place to put that little Commodore 64.
I found out.
I don't even have a place to put those 5.5 or are they 5.5 or 7.5 inch floppies? I don't remember.
5.5.
5.5 inch floppies. So those are the little ones. But we've got some old actual. Remember when they were floppies because they were floppy? Yeah, we got some of those too.
Yeah. There's so much stuff up on the east side of the third floor. It's just fun.
While we're on some downtime, whoever has a window up over the TV, can you move that? That is killing me.
Oh, that's
A window up?
that's me.
There's like an instance of VS Code that's covering the TVs.
Oh.
Carry on.
And
There we go. Thank
just
you.
so you guys know, I found that I know where the Commodore 64 is.
You did nice.
Briggs swiped it. It's in his office.
That's fair.
Are we
That's
allowed
fair.
to?
I don't know.
Swipe it.
I don't know. We'll have to.
Brig,
we'll
I'll make you an
that.
old fashioned. That's a pretty good negotiation tactic. Yeah.
All right, we ready for our next question?
Let's do it.
I'm actually going to take this one. Any word on the beta? Is that out there already? Bill D.
So the beta is out, and I know we have a webcast coming up in the near future where they're going to talk
Yes.
about it.
As a matter of fact, Mark Littlefield, our guru. I don't know what his real title is. I just call him Guru because dude's awesome.
Director of Awesomeness.
Director of Awesomeness.
He's a VP.
I was gonna say chief,
okay, we'll call him
some
VP
VP
Guru of Awesomeness.
Programming guru. Sure.
Yeah. He hit me up on Slack and he wanted to remind everyone, okay, we're doing a deep dive into the product roadmap for deploying inventory, SmartDeploy, and simple MDM. And my screen just went black. He says, and we're giving an update and demo of PDQ Connect. And we'll be showing upcoming features, answering questions. It's going to be very, very cool. So if you're interested in the new product that, has an agent, cloud hosted, I mean, it's outstanding. Next week, you definitely want to tune in and get your questions ready because not only will we have Mark, but we'll have some members of his team on hand to answer all those questions.
And we'll be doing that in the podcast room, right?
Probably.
Just to set expectations.
Yeah, we'll be doing that in our second studio, we'll call that, I guess.
Studio B.
Studio B.
B.
So there you go. All right. Hang on, let me flip that question. Oh, all right, next question. I've been away from PDQ for a while. Job changes. What happened to Lex and Shane? Mike B.
Retirement for both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're living the dream.
Yeah.
We got the B team now. Me and you.
They won.
They did win.
They won.
They won at life.
So I will say, Lex is technically retired, but he has me write a lot of PowerShell for him still. I don't know where this call for PowerShell comes from in retirement, but
His boat runs on PowerShell.
He's still working for. In the same way that we all sort of work for our significant others.
that's his honey-do list is automating.
His honey-do list is a little bit of PowerShell. No joke.
It's the absolute truth, which means Jordan has a second honeydew list, apparently.
Don't tell.
That's going to get me in trouble because I don't do the main one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Been nice knowing you, Jordan. All right, next question. Can you set different deployment credentials for different packages, or is that only a universal setting? eGem.
with inventory.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this.
Yeah. I don't have to hand the keyboard, or you can just start showing.
That's right. I can drive. So let's, like in deploy only, there's a handful of places that you can set the credentials to run this as, right? So options. Oh my goodness, I'm in the wrong place. When you deploy, right, you can choose the credentials to run. We only have one set of credentials in here, but you can add more and you can choose them here at the deployment time. If I'm not mistaken, you can also do it at the schedule. So if you got different schedules that need different things, you can pick the credentials here.
Yeah. You want to talk about that checkbox before you close it?
Oh, you said before I close it, not I closed it.
Yeah, so that one, use PDQ inventory. So if inventory...
This is the winner.
Yeah, that will use whatever credentials you use in inventory to scan. So if you have a bunch of different credentials for scanning, it'll default to whatever inventory uses. You don't have to go through and manually select.
Yeah, so in a case maybe you've got multiple domains or something like that, we open a preference here and we've got a couple different Active Directory containers here. You can set the default user for each of the containers, and then that'll kind of propagate down if you want to do it in mass. Or you can do it kind of one at a time with select scan user, pick the one for individual users here, and then when that package goes to run against any of these targets, it'll use the credentials that you're scanning with already.
How did you get my credentials in there when this is a brand new build?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
There may have been some copying of some VMs that happened.
Does that frighten you, Jordan?
Yeah, it's done. So
Rhymes with skin cats.
We can have a retro after we're done here.
Okay.
All right. I jumped to the dark side from sysadmin to security analyst in my organization. Starting today, soon I'll lose PDQ access. Pour one out for me. Aaron.
Well, that is a bummer to lose that access. I think security is an awesome field to dive into. It's very interesting, and it's one of those. I mean, they say IT is always changing, but it's more true for security than it is for other things. So I think it's
and
be excited for the future, and you can just build in your home lab, deploy an inventory, and have a great time.
Or keep access to inventory.
Yeah, you're security. Who's going to tell you different?
Yeah.
For security reasons, you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the other side of the coin.
And while you're at it, maybe you could be doing some patching for security reasons.
There you go.
Too. Just
I
saying.
like it. So
Just saying.
I'd say power move. Just keep using it anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, we did have someone in the chat respond. Our friend Tim McCabe went through the exact same thing. And he made himself so valuable by using PDQ Deploy and Inventory, he gets to keep his access.
There you go.
So, well done, Tim.
There you go.
Yeah, I like Eric, for security reasons, I can do what I want. I think I heard Bobby say that exact thing.
For sure. And then rather than you chasing down 1603 errors, you're just telling Tier 1, Tier 2 to go fix the 1603 errors to get patched.
There you go.
All right. We semi-answered this one already, but it's worth repeating. How is work on the agent stuff going, everyone? Because everyone wants to know. It's actually going quite well, and if you would like more details, join us next week during the webcast, because, again, we have the team who's responsible for creating this product will be here to answer your questions, do some demos.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I share an office wall with one of the developers that's working on this, right? So every once in a while, I'll kind of just poke into his office and see what's going on, and I'm so excited. I am so excited.
I would just bang on the wall and yell, "Be more awesome!" Just randomly.
Be more awesome faster.
Well, and I am not going to, release this spoiler, but they had some news last week that we were all giddy about.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about next
no
week.
Spoilers, but next week's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, I missed that one too.
Hey, Kelly, I'm curious. Did the question from everyone, was that written by you or was it written by a customer? Either way,
Marcel,
it
I
incorporated
believe.
the collection, which includes all of us.
What happened?
Probably doesn't matter. But
There were actually multiple people that asked a similar question, so I just kind of combined it into one. So, yeah.
gotcha. Well,
There you go.
it was a good presumption because I'm definitely included in that group. I am eager to see what this thing can do. So
Yeah, it's going to be very cool. Okay, next question. Is there a way to choose credentials in a deploy package instead of having to choose a credential at the deployment? Mike P.
Isn't that what I just tried to fumble through? Let's go back over there.
So,
Be more clear.
Well, no, I didn't remember if you could at the package level.
at the package, I don't think we.
You cannot set the credentials on a package. You set them at the deployment level, not the individual package level.
Yeah, that's use the PDQ inventory scan credentials is. I don't know. That's going to take care of almost every scenario because if it's scanned with it, it works. But I don't know.
Yeah.
As far as within the package itself, I don't know. I don't think it can.
Yeah, credentials got put at the execution, not the definition phase.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say it couldn't change in the future. I guess it could.
But
It's a neat feature
But
request.
Jordan, you're right. Yeah, use the inventory.
Yeah, I can tell you on the SmartDeploy side, we use the same approach. They are not defined per deployment package, but they are defined per execution of a particular deployment operation. But the field where you enter your service account credentials is also defined within the settings for the overall console. So you can either enter it per deployment, or you can enter it. You can enter a set of credentials in advance, which will be used for every deployment unless you change them.
Yep.
I feel bad for the viewers. They get one Glenn. We have 4 Glens
You do have
when he pops up on the TV.
That's right. I
Oh,
forget.
you're seeing me on 4 separate monitors?
we get you everywhere, Glenn.
Terrifying.
I need a Glenn here, here, here. You can never find a Glenn when you're angry.
Yeah, Glenn, when you're out here next, we'll show you the horror show that is.
Oh, definitely. January, I'll be doing one of these.
all the
in person for
monitors that you have in front of you guys.
Show you how the sausage is made.
Exactly.
sure. Sounds good.
All right, next question. Gentlemen, is there a way to create a dynamic list showing which computer didn't run the PowerShell script? Lucas, C.
So you'd want to, if it didn't run for either, are we saying the package didn't run at all, or are we saying it ran with an error?
Yeah, because those are two very different things. Either I executed or I executed with an error.
Yeah, so if you have an exit code that didn't run for a certain reason, you could make a list based on the exit code or the error that came in there. Basically anything that has on last run, if there's an error, and that would fill up a dynamic collection that way. Mm-hmm. But if we're saying didn't run at all, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, you could even look at the package and the actual deployment, right? So if we look at the one that we just ran, we ran it against ourselves and it was successful. Let's say we ran this against 50 targets, and we just wanted to see the ones that were failed. So to kind of show everybody here, I just clicked this little filter. Status was failed for this particular deployment of our fancy new package. None, because all of them were successful.
Well, yeah, I built it.
Of course, right? So maybe we just want to see the ones that, were successful and failed. I don't know why you'd want to see successful and failed, and that's not an all. Who knows? But successful is just us. So you can manipulate per deployment in deploy itself to see what machines did what. Then you can just copy
Also with
paste.
dynamic collections, I believe if you, on the deployment table, you can specify the error field.
By all means.
You want me to try that live? This is all theoretical.
I love doing it live.
All right. Let's see. We'll do doing dynamic. What did I say? Deployment table?
I think you said deployment table.
All right. We'll see if I was right.
Oh, there's a deployment table.
Deployment. Error. So if you have an error code in there where it throws an error based on a certain result, since that is an error code, it would pop up in there.
Yeah.
You could just look for a certain value. You could build a collection based on that.
Yeah. So maybe your exit code, if it was an error, you defined your own. That was like, this failed because of super specific reason here.
But normally you could just like error code like 1 or
Yeah.
38794287.
And then you could put that in the contains field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that would be every scan, but that would be for the last scan. So or last deploy. If something else deployed over that time and there was no error, that would be blank. So it'd be something you'd want to catch it early.
Exactly. So this is just a single line filter. You're probably going to want to throw additional conditions in here, maybe computer name contains. Otherwise, you might end up with quite a bit.
Yeah, I think we have the.
I don't know if I've ever
deployments thing.
deployed anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the error there. So that's the deployments table instead of just the actual deployment field. So depending on if maybe there's a certain name of the package, you could add that as a second filter. So it's possible. It's just gonna require a bit of work, I think.
That's that table you're looking at, though. So as you're building your collection, when I build collections that I'm not familiar with the table off the top of my head, I open a computer, look at the table there, and then have the collection next to it and know what fields I'm trying to build off of.
I'll be honest, I'm just happy that I wasn't wrong, let alone that I got the right table.
You called it.
I'll take it. I mean, I was confident in that.
That's half the battle.
All right, we have a question for Glenn because SmartDeploy uses MDT framework, I think, and that hasn't been supported by Microsoft for forever now. Are there any concerns for future compatibility with later versions of Windows? Mike P.
So that is an excellent question. Describing the Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit, or the ADK, as an MDT framework, I definitely understand what you're going for there. Basically, our answer has been we have updated our Windows PE environment whenever we have had to. And that has generally been necessitated by new driver requirements within PE to generally to support new Microsoft devices. They've largely been the drivers behind it. We found a particular version of the Surface laptop would only work if we updated our PE version, and we went from there. But by and large, what we found is that there is so little change to the inbox drivers from one version of Windows PE to the next that generally we can make do without changing the Windows PE version every single time a new one comes out. So we're currently on Windows 10 version 2004. That's the PE version that we're using. So far, Microsoft has released a new version of the ADK for every version of Windows, but so far we have not needed to update it, even to support Windows 11. So essentially, we will continue to update it as needed. One way or another, we will continue to make this functionality available. But so far, we're not using MDT. MDT has a few things in common with our approach, but we are using the Windows pre-installation environment boot images, which have continued to be updated and maintained by Microsoft. In the same way, we also have support for WDS, which is Windows Deployment Services, which you might also be thinking of. That feature has persisted through in the latest versions of Windows Server all the way up through 2022, and we do plan on continuing to support that as well, and keeping the SmartDeploy console's ability to generate Windows Deployment Services boot images and deploy SmartDeploy captured images with those. So, we will keep it working as long as we can. And so far, there is no end in sight.
There you go. Thank you, Glenn. All right, we have 3 questions remaining today, and this one is by Stuck. Will there be native, is it RHEL and Ubuntu-based Linux OS support in PDQ Deploy and Inventory in the near future without the need for custom PowerShell wrapper scripts?
So for the existing products that are out there, those are strictly Windows. I don't know. That'd be an excellent question for next week. Yes, because I don't know what the plans are.
Yeah, I would probably go out on a limb and say probably not for deploy and inventory.
No, not. But for Connect, well,
who knows?
I'll be excited to find out with everybody else.
Yeah, we're learning along with you on that.
Okay, next question. Were you going to post how to remove PSV2 via GPO once you found it? Was this posted? Craig M.
So I thought I shared the links on that one. Did we not put that in the links for the
It may
the
not
video?
have ended up in the description.
All right, so if it didn't get in there, I'll have to go find them again and put them up there. So I sent them over, but if we didn't get them up there, that's our bad. I'll go through and find that one and see if we can put it up.
Would this also be a good blog post?
Why not?
It's
It's
kind
short.
of critical for security, so it's probably not a bad idea to cover doing that. Yeah.
We'll put it on the list.
All right. I'll write about it.
Jordan's like, I didn't come here to get a longer to-do list.
I know. That's kind of how it goes.
That's right, though. I get it. Writing about PowerShell is different than writing about general IT for me. Like I really enjoy that part of it. So, but we do need to cover that one. If the link's not in there, I'll make that a priority blog, just because not allowing version 2 of PowerShell is absolutely critical for security. So it's worth going into.
Yeah.
All right, we have 2 questions remaining. In the light of current world events, is the PDQ, we should refer to ourselves as the PDQ from now on, staying true to its price, or can we expect a price increase in the future? Lucas C.
Definite article.
Hey,
Well, if you haven't noticed that we've increased the price,
Yeah, we did on regular
That's a good
deploy
thing, I suppose.
and inventory. We did recently have a price increase, which was our first since 2014.
2014. So yeah. Are we going to have one in the near future? Probably not.
Yeah.
However, we don't know pricing on Connect on the new product coming up, so
Because that will be a separate,
it'll be
a
different.
separate line
Yeah,
item.
and to just kind of put it out there, we're a company of sysadmins for sysadmins. We're absolutely sensitive to tooling costs.
Yeah.
So these decisions aren't made lightly. Just throwing that one out there as well.
Yeah, we try to be sensitive to that.
Yeah, generally, if there is talk about that, we hear about it internally beforehand, and I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, and I also don't think that there's been talk about the pricing. There haven't been any discussions regarding the pricing of Connect. So I
Not
don't
yet.
think that's happened.
All right. Final question coming up. How often do you add new applications to the PDQ deployment library? Is there a forum where people vote on what they want you to add to the application library?
So the biggest hurdle for the application, the package library, is other companies' distribution rules.
Yes.
Like we have to be able to get permission to be able to distribute that. So what we have started working on is templates, where if we can't provide the media, it's the template has all the steps in there, and then you have to download the media and put it and plug it in there. Mm-hmm. Which with web scrapers PowerShell, you could automate that part of it, but yeah, if the package isn't in there, we're always open to look at it, but some of them it's in there. It's not because we don't want to, we don't think it's valuable. It's the EULA of that software won't allow us.
Exactly. And there is a forum. So if it's help.pdq.com, there's a section that is the package library. You can bounce in there and post a request. So that does go to the packaging team. They look at things like the EULA, overall popularity, and then can we automate it? And is it able to do a silent install? Because there's some software that has come in that we just cannot get to do a silent install.
That sounds
Yeah, I can tell you on the SmartDeploy application deployment side, we definitely run into the exact same struggle. Of course, this is an area where we'll probably eventually have some sort of integrated library between the two. But for some applications where the developers have made an installer URL that is consistent available, that's either going to be like Microsoft Office 365, it's Teams, Slack. There are a few others where it's the same URL. You plug in this URL, it will serve up an installer for the latest version. For those, we have created packages where rather than including, or in our case, distributing the software within the package itself, we just have a step within the package that downloads the latest version of the installer directly from the OEM and then runs the silent install command against that. That is, again, completely dependent on the software vendor making that option available. So it's something that we definitely try to incorporate if we can. And that, of course, creates a package that is always up to date. So.
Cool. All right. Outstanding. I think that's all our questions. So
let's wrap her up.
Camera, whatever.
Camera one.
I'll be honest, I feel like we didn't keep score this time, and I would have won this week.
I started keeping score, but then we had some technical issues, and I just stopped.
So I'm giving myself a moral
1,000 points
victory.
for everyone.
Hey, I'm just happy that the first one in the new studio and everything just worked out well.
Yeah, especially with all the last minute things that you did.
I'll take it.
Yes, thank you, Josh.
Yes, thank you for all the work.
Keeps it interesting.
Hopefully we got your
1,000
answers
points for
you.
everyone, but then 10 extra points for Josh.
Unbelievable.
Take it.
Unbelievable. All right. I'll allow it, but I'm going to complain about it all week. All week.
Till next month.
You had a working machine.
I did get a working machine out of it. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I love doing PDQ A just because you never know exactly what you're going to get, and it gets to see if you can answer things on your toes. And sometimes we can answer those. Next week is going to be awesome, where we get to learn more about the upcoming products, where we're at with that one. So I'd definitely tune in that one if that interests you. For PDQ.com, I'm Jordan.
I'm Josh.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Mike B. and Aaron, winners of PDQ swag. Send us your email and your information at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you back here next week.